So I guess I would be doing you guys a disservice if I wouldn't be filming this part of the dollhouse. So I tried one of these out again because I like to try things out before I make an idiot out of myself. Showing you guys some stuff. So today we're working on the dormers for the dollhouse. As you can see, I did this one already, and we're about to do another one. So let's figure out how we did this. So there's no real good way to go about this except for to get some good old-fashioned graph paper and make yourself a scale. In my case, each block is an inch, so I drew it out to about the approximations that I wanted based on what is originally on the dollhouse. So originally I wanted the windows to be about this size, 3 inches by 5 inches, and looking at it as it is now, I think I'm going to keep those little tiny windows up there. If I want to, I'll cut them out, but I think it'll be easier to deal with those little tiny windows, which would be approximately 3 inches by 3 inches, as per my drawing. Line would just go across here. So once you get it all drawn out, then you turn the drawing in your mind and figure out all the other pieces. So I have piece number 1, piece number 2, and piece number 3. I haven't figured out piece number 3 yet. But piece number 1 and piece number 2 worked out quite well. So I took the measurements that I had on here and I transcribed them onto a piece of wood and cut them out with my new jigsaw, which is over there. It happens to be a battery operated jigsaw that goes with my Porter cable set, which is fantastic. I found it on sale. It's pretty good. I'll do a review on that. But so I cut the pieces out on a piece of wood. A lot of square usage to figure that out. Basically you graph from what you have here onto the piece of wood and then go and cut it out with your jigsaw. For records keeping, once I cut the piece out, I put it on the piece of paper, lined it up, and traced it so that I have a pattern if I ever want to do this again to the exact measurements, which I might be actually making a business out of this when I get out of the Navy. So once we get piece 1 and piece 2 cut out, we have piece 1 and piece 2. We're going to make multiple of piece 2 because piece 1 goes vertical and piece 2 is going to go against the roof. So let me show you how they go on there from the one that I actually put on. Put down these. So piece 1 obviously goes up here like this, flush against the front face. Piece 2 is going to be nailed onto there and into the roof. You can see from this nail that popped out, I nailed it from the inside that way. Let's go from the inside and look at that because that's important too. So we can see there, that's how they go in. They're flush on the inside against the inside of the roof so that I can finish the surface and make it look nice. I didn't know what I wanted to do up here, so I kind of wanted to make it flat so that I didn't have to deal with the upward angle, and cutting that out of here would be extremely difficult. So I'm just going to hide it by slipping a piece of this material that I'm using for the siding, this stuff. I'm going to make a thin sheet, and you can see that'll fit. Oh, there's light in the way. That'll fit up in there nicely and kind of seal that off. So I'll have a flat roof across that, and I won't have to worry about this angle up inside of there. So that's how I'm doing this. Okay, so how to cut it out of the roof. That was kind of tricky as well. Dormers are not easy to do. There's a lot of weird angles. So for this, we're going to our go-to tool, the oscillating multi-tool. So how did I get the outside lines? So I know this, piece 1, I want to sit like this, flush up against. So I want it to be that wide. And piece number 2 is going to fit flush with this. So the outside of this is going to be equal to where piece 2 is going to sit flush. So I want to cut to the outside diameter of piece 1. Alright, so I put that up against where I wanted it to sit based on my markings that I had already. Put it up there, draw the outline, and then cut on that outline. And for here I was just kind of picking a corresponding spot to cut to and then across. This just happened by accident to be my previously marked point, if you will, that I had on there already, and I don't really remember why it's there. So I'm going to pause for a second and think about that and come back and tell you guys how I got the top line. Man, I'm telling you, a lot of this is eyeballing, and that's probably not the right answer, but it does work out in building a dollhouse because most of the times you can cover it like this. And we'll get to that. I just figured out an awesome way to do shingles. You can see over here, that line goes straight to there. Pretty flush with the eyeball. But did I choose it to be like that? No, I sure didn't. I had already marked out where I wanted my windows to go, and you guys saw before, I used a laser to figure out where the top of the window is going to go. Which, if we line this up, doesn't quite work out anyways. So I don't know. I don't know how I got that top line. I guess I just picked a point based on this and the top of that where I wanted to cut to, and then I figured, I figured I would deal with this slope afterwards. That was going to be, that top corner was going to be about where this corner met up, and then I would figure out the slope of that part, which I'm no longer doing. So I don't know, maybe I lined it up and made a mark. That's pretty much how I'm doing this whole dollhouse, because I have no clue what I'm doing. Yep, I think I just made a mark by eyeball. Who knows? But anyway, now that we got our mark, might as well make a record in the book for future reference, making future dollhouses. This is your tool of choice. Once you get your square marked out, this is how I did the other one. Basically, surgically cut out your markings. Again, you're going to want to work it back and forth, so that you make your easiest cut up to the corners, cut the corners out, and this piece will fall out. Now, behind this section here, as we can see on this one, I had made a 45-degree angle reinforcer that I had nailed this panel into. Right there, you can see one of the nails, and right there and there. That was nailed into this piece, so we're going to have to cut flush straight across to get this ledge to open up to make a good seating surface for the dormer. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish off this panel and show you guys where I'm at. I have not cut into it this way. That's going to take the longest time to cut into that piece. So I'm going to work on that. And then once I'm through there, leave the corners for last, because the corners hold the piece in place. If you have a big panel that you have ends that are free, it's just going to vibrate the whole time when you're trying to cut into it, and it's going to soak up the energy that you're using to cut against. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut out this piece, leaving the corners for last. Alright, so now we are cut through. And this is what you are left over with. The piece that comes out. So right in there, comes out. Fantastic. Alright, so our next part is going to be to get piece 1 and piece 2 together. And how we're going to do that is we're going to line these up because the most prevalent joint is going to be down in this corner. We want this angle to be exactly flush with this piece right here. So we're going to lay this on a flat surface, and then we're going to take our 23 gauge pin nailer, like this one, and we're going to temporarily affix this piece 1 to this piece 2 and likewise on the other side. So we're going to build this piece right here all together, and then we're going to take that piece 1 and piece 2 connected, and affix it inside of there. So let me get to putting this together. Alright, so now we have this bit together with our 23 gauge pin nailer. Now we're going to take this piece and set it in here, and I'm not going to be able to do this with one hand. So basically what you're going to do here is get this flush on the outside at the bottom, and then you're going to go around to the back on the inside, and you're going to get this flush. And then once you get that flush, you're going to take your 23 gauge pin nailer again and nail it in sideways like that to keep it in place. And the 23 gauge pin nailer is not going to be the final nail that you're going to use. That's just to hold it in place for now. So I'm going to pause for a second and get that nailed square into place where I want it, so I can hit it with my final nailer. So I only have 4 nails in here right now, 4 23 gauge pin nails holding this in place, which that's the most important part. Get it lined up first, tack it in place with some thin nails so that you're not going to worry about, keeping them in place forever. Again, I'm trying to build this dollhouse so that it's rock solid and it's going to last generations. So I'm going to go back and nail it in place the right way with more nails. So I'm going to take my 23 gauge pin nailer and make sure that it's in place solidly, and then go back with the 18 gauge nailer and shoot it in place with some more solid nails to make sure that I can punch this thing and it won't fall apart. I'm not going to punch it, but I guarantee you from this one, I'm shaking the whole dollhouse on this and it's not coming apart. So that's what we're trying to do here, make a solid dollhouse. This piece is in place. I'm not going to do it on this one again because it's got some thin nails in it, but we're going to go back with the 18 gauge nailer and nail that in place solidly. So this is in place pretty good for now. You want to feel with your finger, make sure the front is flush as much as possible, both of those sides, and then run your finger up here, make sure this is flush. This is your first most important angle. Shoot that in, shoot this in, and then these bottom 2 corners, make sure they're flush, shoot it in, get it in place, and then finish it off. So that is, I guess, part 1 of the dormers. I haven't figured out part 3, which is the roof pieces that go on here. So I'll make that another video. But this should get you started on making your dormers. We will figure out part number 3. So like I said, we're going to go back with the 18 gauge nailer, this guy. And we're going to shoot some nails in here, over here, and then on the inside up against the roof on both sides. For doing this is the last tip for this video. You want to make sure you're straight in line with the board that you're shooting into because it's very thin wood. Use some shorter nails. Let me show you how thick the length of the nails that I'm using. It's the length right there. Take them out. That's how long they are. Okay, that's the length we're using. You would only go too long or we'll have a blowout. No good. Don't want to blow out. So like I said, we're going to line it up nice and easy with that, just like I have in this one. No blowouts. Very close to the end, but no blowouts. Don't want to blow out. Boom, just like that. No blowout. And I don't know if you can see it. Hold on, we'll get you up in there. No blowout. That's what we're trying to do. That's how we're doing that one. I'll go around and show you guys one on the inside. And then we'll call that a day for this video, I guess. We're gonna Bob Ross this, whatever makes you happy, I guess. This one, because we're gonna shoot it at an angle, you wanna go as shallow as you possibly can. Right on the end there. Boom, shoot it. No blowout on the inside. See how we did on the outside. No blowout. Perfect. So that's how you do it. You're going to do that a couple of times, not too many. On the front here, I did 4, probably the same on the inside. We had 1 blowout right there. That's what it's going to look like, but it's not a big deal because when you put your shingles on it, as long as it's not protruding too much, it's not going to mess up your shingles. And if it is protruding a little bit too much, there's always this tool. Get the metal wood bit and you can cut right through these thin nails, no problem, and they won't be in your way. So that's how to put some dormers in your dollhouse. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below the video, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. I hope you guys have an outstanding day. I hope you found this video informative. I hope you learned something. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm out.